Hello and welcome. My name is Adrina. I am the owner and accountant here at Accounting by Adrina. And in today's video, I am going to walk you through exactly how I would analyze a financial statement. So if you caught my last video, it was how to read financial statements. I literally walk you through how to read a profit and loss statement, an income statement, the balance sheet, and the management report, which includes and incorporates all of those. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I would look at a financial statement when it comes to the analytical part when you're preparing a budget or a forecast for your business. So make sure you are signed up for my weekly newsletters. I'm also sending out monthly newsletters that kind of give you a background on things that you should be aware of in the coming months. So I'll go ahead and leave a link below for my newsletter. Sign up there, and let's just jump right in. All right, so once you log into QuickBooks, make sure you go to the left-hand side where it says Reports. Now, this report is only going to be as good as the data. So if that means that there's still outstanding items in the banking feed, if you haven't captured all of the transactions, expenses, income for the period that you would like to report on, then do all of that first. Make sure you do your bookkeeping first. So when you come to the reports section, there we go, it's finally populated. There's just a whole bunch of stock reports that you can just run automatically, but I really find the power is in how you can filter and drill down to the information that you're going to be analyzing. So first of all, mostly speaking, we're going to be looking at the profit and loss statement. So that is your income statement. That is income, that's expenses, that is most of the transactions coming through that will kind of inform your budget moving forward. So we look to the past so we can plan for the future. So go ahead and click whichever report that you're looking to run. So I clicked the profit and loss statement, and the canned report runs from January 1st through today. So that is kind of like the report period that you'll see here on the top left side. Now, if I don't have any further information for May, there's really only 3 days loaded. I'm going to want to report on this year to last month. So you'll just go ahead and select the filter this year to last month and then click on Run Report. All right, so now this theoretically would be a complete data set. Now, here's where the analyzing comes in. So we want to look at what did it look like last year during this same time? So we're going to go ahead and click on, it says compare another period. So select the period. So it's going to be the prior period. Now you can also select previous year. So let me show you what this one looks like first. Okay, so this one is showing this year in this column. So the first 4 months of this year, and it's comparing the first 4 months of last year on the income statement side. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like there's data in there for the first 4 months, so there's really nothing to compare it to. But you can also add in kind of what the dollar change is or what the percentage change is, and that's also going to give you some helpful information. For example, if you just started your business in January of 2023, obviously there's nothing going to be reported on here. So the dollar change is exactly the amount as the income statement. And if there was data loaded in, then you would be able to compare, let's say it was $1,000 here, then the change would be $1,250. And then it would be kind of almost double of as far as the percentage is concerned. So this is really where the analysis part comes in, because you can quickly identify by looking at the percentage change where the variances are in your budget for this period. Now, if we were to say, let's take a look at the previous period, it's going to give us the same information because I'm basically running the same report. Now, if I was only to look at, let's say, last month, and we still have the previous period selected here, it's going to compare last month to the month before that. So it's going to compare April 2023 to March 2023. Now, this is actually helpful information, especially if there's some seasonality with your business. So comparing, okay, well, this one's higher this month, but it was lower in the previous month. This one is higher in the previous month, but it's lower in the current month. So this is really helpful information because maybe you did, a design, like a really big design income project in April that wasn't existing in March. And then, you can scroll down and see some seasonality with your expenses as well. Sometimes you'll see like prescription costs, populating in the same month compared to the previous month if it's the same amount, like you have a 12-month subscription type of thing. And so then you'll be able to identify that as well. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out, so usually I'm looking at this on a monthly basis. So let's do this year to last month with a monthly column with the previous year selected. Let me show you what that looks like. All right. This is probably, in my opinion, what I feel is like the most helpful to analyze your books, because what you're comparing is month by month. So January of 2023 to January of 2022. And when you compare the 2 months like that, then you're really comparing apples to apples, unless there was like a dramatic shift. Obviously, there's no data here, but you can tell that this is really going to help inform you, okay, well, if April is performing like this, then in May of 2022, how did we perform? You can sort of forecast and predict income and expenses based on how it was from the prior year and then from the previous period. So what I would normally do is export this specific data into Excel, and then I would have kind of like my Excel file that I could work with, and it would help me not only develop a budget, but keep me on track with spending and with income coming in, especially if there are income, like maybe you sent out an invoice, but you haven't received the funds yet. So that is also one way that you can identify, okay, well, I'm missing some income from a specific customer or a specific client. Now, if you were to analyze the data that you had from 2022, like you just wanted to look at last year's data, and then if you still had this filter selected as previous year, then it would compare 2022 to 2021. I'm pretty confident there's no data here. So, there is some data in December of 2022. Look at that. So this person apparently started their business in December of 2022. So I usually like to look at like a full year perspective rather than just a few months, or even like what I did recently with my own finances is I looked at the data for January, February, March, and April. So I analyzed all 4 months because I really felt like that was a larger chunk rather than just looking at it on a quarterly basis. I felt like having a 4-month perspective was really going to be helpful for me in establishing what I thought my forecast would be for my income and for my expenses. And so what I would just do is, export this data into Excel, and then that way you have kind of like a solid foundation to start a budget and a forecast. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you in my next video.